Okay, got a few hours before work, so I thought let's go ahead and just try to hit maps. Let's get it done. And of course, we're going to be starting with my least favorite, Act 8. There's just something about this act not a fan of. Is it north? Might be going north up here.
Orb of scouring. Blessed orb.
Might have to make some more coffee. Holy shit. Alright. Okay. Kill all the magic mobs. All the time. Yeah, it might be time to upgrade the weapon. Gotta check the vendor and see if there's any new staffs. No staffs. Wait, there's a staff. And requirement went up though. Oh, it's always intelligence. Let's see what we can do here. What do we got? Attack speed, phys damage. Surely we can do a little bit better. It's not too bad. Red, red, green. Then we just gotta figure out inner requirements. exactly is our int at? 81, and we need 8 more ints. This would fix it. Oh, did I have intelligence on the staff? That's funny. Okay. What can I craft on the staff? Could put int on the staff, I guess. Just so I can equip it. Okay. Back to the grind. Yeah. It's better. So, if I can get to maps before I gotta go into the office, then later on today I might start a new level 1 character and just test maybe leveling with a 2-hand axe and doing like Sunder, I think. I also want to update the leveling POVs slightly based on testing here.
Orb of scouring.
Okay. Very, very nice. On we go. this way. What in the world? Ooh. That's a modifier we don't like. Okay. Yo, what's up, Googler YouTuber? Just doing some practice runs here to see what it feels like leveling with Cyclone. Just leap slamming my way to victory.
Divination card.
Is Impale generally better than Volatility? I think it is. I think it's worth going for the 100% Impale chance. Although, you could always sim it out in the POV. Just was thinking about playing this build. Yeah, I mean, as it is right now with a scuffed set of gear and a 4-link, it's feeling decent leveling. So I imagine on, tomorrow, it's going to be really good with all the changes because it's just going to hit stronger. It's just going to play much, much better. So I'm pretty excited based on what it feels like right now, what, we can expect leveling with it. I think as a starter, it's going to be fantastic for like getting into maps and pushing progression with Atlas and whatnot. But yeah, I won't know until this weekend when I try to scale it out and see how it goes. So far, it's been pretty good. It's been pretty solid. Yeah, man. No problem. Yeah, I think whatever you want to do tomorrow when it comes to melee, you're gonna have a pretty good time, for sure. All right. Where to go now? Let's pick up this health node. And then I think I might actually spec down this way to pick up endurance charge generation, since we're not going to have Stampede or the Anoint. I kind of want to make sure I have endurance charges rolling by the time we get to maps. So I think that will be the next stuff that I pick up. So yeah, and then that also will get me closer to Versatile. They moved this like over to the left. I think it's, or did they? Yeah, they swapped the places with Iron Reflexes, so it's over here now on the new tree. I bet the items in trade lead gonna be expensive though. Yeah, there's a chance that like some of the items might be expensive. Obviously, Rise Lothos will probably be more expensive for sure. I don't think the Stampede will necessarily be too expensive. I don't think a lot of people are gonna be playing Cyclone this weekend. That's because like every major streamer is pushing slam builds, so I expect slam builds are probably going to be what everyone wants to play. If I had to wager, I guess, on that one. But, you know, I think slam builds are going to be the most popular. I think if you're going gladiator, like shield, any shield skill like shield crush, spectral shield throw. I think lacerate obviously will be popular. Those all look really good. I think a lot of people probably aren't playing Cyclone though, to be honest. Give me 1 second here. What's the best DPS you could get from Cyclone? So I keep revising the POBs and updating them in my build video, but I think around 5 to 6 million DPS is what you can probably expect from the starter version, which should be more than enough damage to complete your Atlas and do like T16s and just like chill. Even do like, you know, regular bosses. And then once you get into crit and you start converting and scaling that out, I think like anything from 15 to 20 million DPS is what you can expect, depending on how much you want to go into defenses. And then right now my end game version is looking like anywhere from 35 to 40 million DPS with me balancing it with defenses. Sneak in one of the retaliation skills, the build if you use tons of block. Yeah, so I'm not sure. I haven't really looked into the retaliation skills. I'm not sure how good that would feel. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely something to look into. It was Crushing Fist, something that they released finally with the gem stuff, because that might be worth looking into. After the mana nerf on Tumult, a lot of people canceled the idea to play Cyclone. Yeah, so a lot of people, that might turn them off. I did revise the POBs to get us back down to 0 mana costs, using basically it was a big DPS loss, but we dropped Death's Rush and picked up a rare ring with the mana cost enchant. Now, I'm gonna play around with Tumult because we might still be able to squeeze in a Death's Rush, and because we have mana leech with the build, the mana cost Even if we have a little bit of mana cost, it might be worth running the ring just to get that adrenaline going. But yeah, on both my starter and crit version, we are at 0 mana, which will feel really nice, obviously. Just not a lot of people cover it. Cyclone just... So the problem with like melee up until recently is, you know, really if you wanted to play melee and just like honestly do really well scaling it out, you played Bone Shatter. Like that was like just what you've done for multiple leagues now. And, you know, Cyclone was super popular several years ago. I was talking about it yesterday. The last time I played Cyclone was Legion, when everyone was playing Cyclone. But I haven't played Cyclone in a couple years, right? It's just, you know, melee has been in a really bad state in Path of Exile for so long. And because, like, bosses have gotten harder, you know, it's a lot more forgiving to play ranged builds in this game so that you can do boss mechanics than it is to play melee. And you needed something like Bone Shatter in order to, like, do bosses and have some kind of defense going. But, like, with all the changes they're doing now, you know, all the melee skills are generally better, and, you know, you can actually scale your defenses out now so that, you know, you can get, like, high block and stuff like that. You won't be penalized as much for being close to an enemy as you were up until, you know, tomorrow, for instance. So it's still not good compared to other skills. Well, so this is where you have to decide what do you want to do in Path of Exile, right? You can beat all the content in this game with any skill, right? And you really don't need a lot of damage. Like, you can kill the Uber Pinnacle bosses with like 5 to 10 million damage, because at that point it's mechanics. Like, even when you look at the best players in the world, you know, when they're doing boss fights, they have to do the boss fights, right? Unless they're playing some meme, you know, build. And so it comes down to mechanical skill at the end of the day when you're doing like really hard content in this game. And damage wise, like, yeah. But the problem is like most people want to play a meta build that like trivializes the game, you know, does a ton of damage so that they don't have to play the game. They can just blast through everything. And every league, there's going to be a few builds that emerge that are that kind of meta thing, right? That just nuke bosses and this and that. And then GGG will nerf those builds like after a league or two. Or in the case of DD, they'll just let it exist for like 3 years before they nerf it. But that's what people want, right? They don't really want to play the game. They just want to build that will trivialize the game, you know. And there's not that many of those compared to everything else you can do in the game. But you can play whatever you want in Path of Exile and be just fine. It just might take you 3 times as long to kill a boss or something. Yeah, like Ben is a prime example, right? Like when he pushes content, he doesn't have a build when he first goes in, you know. That's like, I mean, it'll obviously do a lot of damage, but he's not one-shotting Uber Pinnacle bosses. He still has to like do mechanics. He still has to pay attention to what's going on. There's still mechanical skill there, right? That's what is so amazing and godlike about Ben is his ability to do those fights and have the mechanical skill to not die, you know, especially since he's playing hardcore solo self-found. But he still has to play the game, right? He still has to play the game. He can't just like, you know, maybe later on in the league once he's farmed up currency like he did on trade last league, he'll have like, you know, he'll put together a build that will like trivialize the content. But that's not usually what he's playing on starter. Do you play Cyclone a lot or just whenever it's good? I do not play Cyclone a lot. I'm only playing a melee skill because they made melee good again. I want to play lazy one butt in this league just to farm for the harbor stuff. That is the nice thing about Cyclone compared to the slam builds, is that you're going to be able to just spin to win, and then when you get to a tough monster or a rare, you can just like throw down War Banner, and that's it. You don't have like 5 or 6 war cries that you have to manually manage, you know, because you lose the buffs if you automate them. So you're going to want to push your war cry buttons. I have a video I put out that has like a coverage on a Cyclone Shockwave Slayer League start. Some of the footage is now very outdated in the video because I've revised the POV several times. That's in the description of the video. But yeah, I did put a video out for a League starter for this. And I plan on streaming when League is live and making edits in real time based on how things feel and, you know, how the economy is and whatnot. This practice is more specifically like I want to see essentially how the build feels with really scuffed rare gear and like a 4-link when I get to white maps, because that's going to give me a good idea of like hopefully how much better things feel tomorrow, because everything about this build should be better tomorrow essentially. But when I play this game, I typically like to play whatever I want to play, you know, and I don't usually play whatever the meta is. So if it's like a melee league, I'm going to play something like Cyclone, which I don't think a lot of people are going to play. If it's like, you know, a caster league, I might play some shit like Incinerate, because nobody plays that. Yeah, I think my endgame version right now has like 35 to 40 million DPS. I'm curious if that guy is going into... I'm curious if that guy is like utilizing the new block, right? And is he playing like into all the block nodes and taking versatile combatant, and is he, you know, running a more defensive setup? Because that's the thing in this game, right? Like, I can have a build that does 60 million DPS, but it's a glass cannon. So in the chance that I get off-screened by a projectile while I'm, you know, doing delirious mapping or T-17s, and I get one shot, and then I lose 2 bars of experience at 98 because I have a 60 million DPS build that has no defense, okay, that's not going to feel great. Or I could play a 40 million DPS build that, like, still blasts T-17s and delirious maps, but has like insane effective hit pool because I'm scaling defenses, so I'm not getting one shot by those projectiles off screen. And so that's kind of like, I'd rather have a build that does less damage, because you don't really need an insane amount of damage to play this game, and have something that is actually like survivable, because there's nothing that feels worse when you start to get to high levels and you're just losing experience because you're dying all the time to random shit. The other thing to take with a grain of salt is people look at these builds that people post on YouTube, and they're like, oh yeah, you know, Cyclone build, it does fucking 80 million DPS. You're never going to play that build. Like, most people that play PoE don't actually get that far, right? So like, if you're going to play a Cyclone build, or you're going to play like any build, you should always look at what the starter is for that build and assume that's like what you're for sure going to play. Like, are you going to farm up 500 to 700 divine to get your build good enough to do what that guy posted in his POV? You know, like, you're going to need a lot of divine to run my endgame setup. Like, it's going to take me a while to do it myself. You know, are you going to have like the time to do that? Or realistically, are you going to just be able to maybe squeeze out like a 10 to 15 million DPS build, you know? Like, I think sometimes people just watch videos and they look at what the raw numbers are on like an endgame POB, and they're like, oh yeah, this is going to be awesome. And then they play they play the skill, and then it sucks because it's not doing that damage. And it's like, well, yeah, you didn't farm up, 500 divine to make the build that good. Oh, this is a bad situation. I need to roll freeze immunity on one of my flasks. Yeah, that's kind of the trade-off in PoE, right? You're either scaling damage or you're scaling defense, and you have to make trade-offs all the time. So if you want your build to be tankier, you're going to sacrifice damage. The problem is people have this like unrealistic idea of how much damage they actually need to play the game, and so they push like it, for these insane damage builds, which does make the game easier at a certain point when you think about it, because you are nuking stuff. But like, you have no defense, and usually people scale for damage that's way more than what they actually need when they could be scaling for defense. Yeah, yeah. It's like a dopamine rush, right? You see the big number and you're like, oh, I want to play that. That looks great. And there are, don't get me wrong, there are some builds that like can scale damage super high because like it's something that GGG overlooked, right? And so it just does like insane damage. And usually those builds, they're going to get nerfed after a league. I will say GGG is pretty good about not killing a build mid-league usually if it's like broken, but you can usually expect that build to not make it past the league. You know, so every now and then something emerges, right, that's like just ridiculously overpowered. It doesn't require a lot of divine to, you know, squeeze out that kind of damage. But that is not, you should not use that as a test case for all builds in PoE. That is a rarity. Do you have other MTX or Cyclone to show off buying? Yeah, I have some other stuff for Cyclone I can show. Yeah, I like the Celestial stuff, but I have a couple different Cyclone MTX I can switch to. So like this one is pretty good. Somebody was commenting about this one yesterday because it makes it clear so you can see what's under you. And once we scale out Cyclone, it's going to be further away from the character, so you have more visibility. Yeah. Probably the most noticeable build that was like pretty overpowered that they kept around forever was DD. DD was the type of build where you didn't need insane gear to get like really good damage out of it because it scales off the monster's life, right? So like basically your job was to craft like the most defensive gear possible with that build. And it was very solo self-found friendly. But yeah, that's typically my approach. Like anytime I see a video that's like, oh, this build does 80 million DPS, I'm like, okay. How much divine did you sink into it to do that? And am I going to die to one-shot projectiles coming, you know, from off-screen while I'm doing stuff? Now, there are exceptions to that kind of line of thought, right? Like if you're playing with other people and you've got like an aura bot with you especially, then you can kind of like really go all in on the offense and not worry about defense because you're going to get that from your aura bot. So like I have two friends that are going to be, actually I have like I think 3 or 4 friends that are really going to be playing hard this league when we're talking about group play stuff. And one of my buddies is just starting an aura bot right from the get-go. So like I might go more defensive with what I'm doing because if I end up farming stuff with him and another buddy, you know, he's going to be providing all the defenses essentially. Hey, I appreciate it, man. So I know enough generally about the game, right? I'm not going to sit here and say I'm an expert at playing Cyclone. Because like I haven't played Cyclone in a couple years and I'm learning while I do this at the same time. But I have a good understanding of PoE in general, right? Like I play solo self-found, I play hardcore, I even play Ruthless usually every league. Like I had a Ruthless character, I almost got to 90 in Acropolis. So it's like, I know a lot about the game generally. I'm not going to pretend I know everything about the game or you know, how to play every skill in the game. But I appreciate it. What are friends? Yeah, what are friends? That is a good question. That leap slam animation is fucking ridiculous, how you kind of like bob and weave in and out underneath things when you... Yeah, Ruthless to me is like a fun side thing. I like the idea of, I really enjoy grindy games, so the problem with Ruthless is like I usually don't have enough time. I usually don't have enough time to play Ruthless because it requires an insane amount of hours to get like decent gear to be able to do stuff. and farm up all the gems you need and everything. And so that's usually something that, like, you know, playing regular PoE, playing that, playing other games, and then having to juggle work and other responsibilities. Ruthless is like a real heavy time investment, but it's fun. It's very satisfying when you get a build going in Ruthless and like you're clearing red maps, like even just doing like T12s, because like doing red maps in Ruthless is pretty rare. It's pretty hard to sustain like T16s. So like just getting into red maps and comfortably being able to do red maps is a good feeling. But the real problem I have with Ruthless is they still make it way too hard just to do maps. Like, I feel like if they could fix Ruthless to where you can at least just sustain maps easily and do T16s, I don't care if I'm like running magic T16s, right? I don't need to be alking and corrupting them. But the fact that like just generating maps is such an issue still in Ruthless, and you have to invest so much into being able to do it, is really a downside for me. The cheap viewers on? Yeah. Yeah. Yep. An unhealthy amount of time on. PoE definitely rewards you no lifing, for sure. It reminds me a lot of World of Warcraft, right? I've sunk a ridiculous amount of time into World of Warcraft over the years. Both of those games, they really incentivize you giving up all your free time. Alright, so pretty soon we're going to have constant fortify and endurance charges, which will be really nice. And then once I pick up Disciple of Unyielding, I'll then start picking up all the endurance charge nodes, so we get all those extras. Then I think once I finish this act, I'll re-roll some of my flasks and hopefully have a better flask setup. Yeah, WoW is something else, man. Especially retail WoW, there's a lot of buttons to manage. Yeah, I've got like no... This freeze shit is really hurting me right now because I don't have any freeze immunity. Alright. Oh, I jumped into the game. Like I went into the game there. That was crazy. Alright, let's pick this up. Let's get going. This could be spicy. I'm not sure how we're going to do here, but we'll find out in a second. Yep. So damage, it's alright. I will say I'm also going into a lot more defensive nodes on the tree right now than passive damage from it. The expectation being that with the buffs to the gems, this will feel a lot better tomorrow. How long have I been playing PoE? Oh my god, dude. Probably like 8 or 9 years now, reliably. I think I really started playing pretty much every league back in 2017. Do you think running Delhi is worth it with this build? I think it'll be fine. I think once we get into... well, let me take a step back. I think once we get the Forbidden Flame Flesh Jewels and we're running the Gladiator Ascendancy, running Delhi is going to be fine. Poacher's Mark carrying tomorrow? Yeah, Poacher's Mark is going to be really nice. that's something I'm gonna revise in the POB when I think like before the end of tonight, and I mean like Thursday night, not Wednesday night going into Thursday, because it's the odd hours right now. Yeah, I'm gonna revise my POBs and swap out the vulnerability manual curse for a mark on hit poachers. Good morning, guys. How's the build going? It's going, my dude. We're just trying to get to maps real quick before I go to work. I got to go into the office for just a little bit today, so I'm trying to get this done before I do that. Good morning. I've only been playing for 2 years. Yeah. Yeah, I think I have like about 8 and almost like 8,500. Yeah, 8,500 hours in the game right now over the last like 7 years reliably. Some of that is some AFK time in hideouts though, for sure. Yeah, I will say that for at least probably the last, probably the last 3 years, PoE has definitely been my main game over anything else. Like, I reliably play this every league. Is that a Cyclone microtransaction? Yes, it is. I have a couple different ones. I have the 7 apparently, and I guess there's a lot more. The Shark Cyclone effect could be kind of a meme. So I'm going to be buying both of the supporter packs tomorrow. And I might buy some of these Cyclone effects, like the Shark and the currency, just to see what it looks like. Always itching to get on. Yeah. GGG, man, they're a great company. Like, the fact that this is a free-to-play game, and even if you factor in, like, the feeling compelled to buy, like, stash tabs, the fact that they update the game the way they do and it's free-to-play, I mean, like, look at what we're getting in one league versus what you're going to get in the expansion to D4, you know? And I play Diablo. Like, I played D3 since like 2010. I played D4 heavy when it came out. You know, I love even for what it is. I am content playing D4 right now. Whenever they do new seasons, but look what you're gonna get out of a league with PoE versus a fucking expansion that Blizzard's putting together for D4. It's insane. It's not even night and day. Or I should say it's night and day. Yeah, GGG is a company that's run by gamers, like for gamers. It's very clear. And, you know, whenever you have a company that's run by people that are still gamers, the game is good, right? That's kind of like an obvious statement. So, Larian Studios, for instance, making Baldur's Gate 3, you can tell, okay, this is a game that was made by gamers. That's why it's so good. And all these companies that used to be companies ran by gamers that made games for gamers that were great in the early 2000s, right? So Blizzard was an example of that. You know, BioWare was an example of a company that was gamers making games for gamers, like the original Mass Effect trilogy, you know, the original Dragon's Age, KOTOR. Like, this guy is fucking me up right now. Those were games that were made by gamers for gamers, and they were amazing. And then those companies got really big and became corporate and about the bottom line, and yeah, that changed. Then they started pumping out like shit games, microtransactions, just trying to squeeze money out of you. Yeah, see, what PoE does really smart is there's nothing you buy in this game that's like power creep. You know, it's all cosmetics, and they put like a lot of time into making great cosmetics. So like, it's a great business model. It's like, hey, just if you want to look shiny, buy shit, you know. I'm very happy with the reward video that they put out a couple hours ago. Because usually the challenge rewards are like, hey, you'll get like a couple armor pieces and you get your totem. But we're getting like a skill effect on kill. We're getting an amazing looking portal. Like there's some pretty nice stuff that's coming with rewards this time around. So I don't always go 36 plus challenges, but I'm probably definitely going to go at least 36 this league. If not, maybe 40, depending on what the challenges are. I've done 40 twice, I think, in PoE. Even with all the hours I play, it's, yeah, these guys are messing me up. Even with all the hours I put in, oh no, it's this possessed guy. This guy might rip me again. Get the fuck out of here, let's go. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Yeah, you get like a weapon skin too. That's like the first one, I think. It's pretty amazing, honestly. Yeah, we really need to fix my flask setup here. It's starting to hurt. One of the other things I'm doing right now is I am purposely not running determination, because I won't be using determination in the build. I don't think we're going to need it. And yeah, if I had determination going and I turned off some of my other offensors, have a bit more fizz reduction here. Spin to win, baby. Kill all the chunky boys. Am I excited for PoE 2? Heck yeah, dude. I remember when PoE 2, or PoE used to be basically PoE 2, man. Like, it was a slower game. You know, I remember PoE when it was like something else, dude. I think PoE 2 is going to be kind of an awakening for some people, because it is not what this game is at all. And I'm excited for it. Last Epoch, I think Last Epoch is a great game. I think like they need to, I think as they do more cycles and there's more content, it's going to be obviously better and better. But like I think its base game is a great halfway point between something like D4 and Path of Exile. Alright, let's fix my flasks real quick before we get too far into what we're doing here. And okay, so what am I currently running? Let's look at our setup. I don't think we need this mana flask anymore, so we can drop that. We want the Quicksilver. Unfortunately, we might still need a Bismuth, because my resistances are fucking trash. Unless I can craft some gear real quick and fix that. So just kind of want to get capped on resistances. So grab these. Grab these. Do we have a new chest base? Nothing that's pure armor. What about helm? That'll work. Better PC. Yeah, I built a new PC this year, the first time in like 6 or 7 years, and so everything feels pretty amazing right now when I'm gaming. Oh yeah, this helmet will be a nice little upgrade. It's gonna be Dark Souls-esque. Yeah, it's gonna be something else, dude, for sure. Let's see what I can do maybe with some essence crafting. I'm searching essences on essences, that's funny. Alright, let's see. Armor. Yeah, we just want a decent life roll and maybe an open suffix to craft. That's actually like shitty enough to be fine, to be honest. And then let's go ahead and do the same on gloves. So this will put us at way more fire than we need, and then we can go for like lightning resist on these gloves. Lightning resist. Can't wait to upgrade everything, will change. Yeah. Getting, like, having a decent rig is so good, obviously. Fire, cold, lightning. Only a head life. That's insane. Okay, we'll go with those. And then, honestly, cold resist is really the thing we need now. Perfect cold and fire. So let's just roll a cold on these guys. That'll work, and then we can throw movement speed on them. Alright, let's go. Do I need a better belt too? I don't want to go too crazy with the gear, because I'm just trying to simulate like having life and resistances on my gear, kind of in line where I'll be when I get to maps. How much did you spend on upgrades for your PC? I spent a lot, dude. This rig that I put together was almost $3,000. No, but when I build a PC, I do it at like every 6 to 8 years, and I future-proof it for almost like half a decade. So I won't be upgrading this PC for probably another 5 years. And I always build my own computers. What are my defenses out now? Okay, so we want a little bit more lightning, I guess, and cold. And then this should get us to a comfortable spot going into maps. I guess we can just roll an armor on you. Increased armor, let's do it. Looking at buy one from Starforge. Yeah, I've heard the pre-builds are decent. Any plans to theory craft other builds? Definitely, man. I usually play 2 or 3 builds a league, for sure. Especially if I'm having like a good time. So, I suspect that I will probably make another build somewhere down the road. When does the damage really roll in on this build? I mean, it'll be fine. Like, from the minute you hit maps. I was talking about this earlier. Like, you're gonna have more than enough damage on the starter version of this build to be able to complete your Atlas without any issues and do like normal bosses. If you want to like have really good damage, you're gonna want to go crit, and that's gonna cost some money to get the gear situated for that. Like it's, damn, I rolled over it. It's like not going to be too expensive, but yeah, you're not going to be doing like 20 million damage, you know, day 2 on this build. You'll probably be doing like 3 million to 5 million. Once you get your gems leveled and you get like a decent like 600 fizz weapon crafted. Get a 5 link going. Alright. Put this here, and then we can transfer these up back here. How much are we talking? So I was like doing some Craft of Exile to make a staff, and I think it's going to cost anywhere from 7 to 15 div to make like a decent staff, because like you get better quality on weapons now. It's multiplicative, so I think like getting a 7 to 800 fizz DPS weapon will probably cost you like maybe 7 div. If you want to get closer to like an 850 to 900 fizz DPS weapon, you might have to invest like up to 15 div with doing some bench crafting. So getting a weapon will be huge, right? And then, you know, obviously having a Rise Lothos is going to give you damage, so you want to pick up that. And then you're going to want to also get, you'll want a Rise Lotha and a decent crafted weapon, and you're also going to want to pick up an Abyssus. Abyssus is huge on a crit build, right? Because you get that multiplier, so you're going to want an Abyssus, and those might be expensive this league because it's a melee league. And then after that, really scaling your damage will come from like getting crit rings. So yeah, it's going to probably cost like, if you're factoring in Rise Lothas and you're factoring in an Abyssus, which are going to be more expensive this league, and crafting a decent weapon to get you through a lot of stuff, probably 20 to 30 div, like to have like a really solid damage that's going to feel good on everything you're doing for the most part. To get like the 35 to 40 million DPS that I'm currently working on, that's going to be a lot of divines. A lot of divines. But you don't need that kind of damage to play this game. I was talking about that earlier. Like that's just like, gee whiz, how far can I scale stuff? It's not necessary for actually playing this game. Alright, and then I need to fix flasks. The starter gear, I think, is going to be pretty cheap. So, like, I redid the weapon on my latest POB. You're going to just, like, essence craft with contempts until you hit, like, a decent second mod, like increased fizz damage or something. And then you can just, like, craft on attack speed. Like, making a decent weapon is going to be very easy to start out with. And then all of your rare gear, you're just looking for life and resistances. You just want life and resistances. You're going to want to find somebody that has the mana cost enchant early on so that you can get the mana reduction on your rings. And then really the first thing I'm going to buy on the starter version, which I think is the most important, is a Stampede, right? Because then we can start using Tumult, which is going to give us more radius. It's going to give us obviously more damage, and then we don't have the movement speed penalty we got to deal with. So you're going to want that. And then the biggest damage increase to the starter build, which will be, once again, should be pretty obvious, is picking up that Rise Lothos. That's going to give you the most damage increase on the starter build. And it's going to be more expensive than it normally is, but like at the same time, you should feel good about buying the belt because you're going to use it the entire league on the character. Do you think this build is good for someone who likes to blast mostly one build? Oh yeah, yeah. You should be able to scale this. You should be able to play this build doing like everything. Oh, my auras are turned off. That's funny. Yeah, you can do everything on this build. It's a one league build for sure. Oh yeah, so then there's the new rune enchants. So the question is like, what can we do with the rune enchants? Because it looks like keystones you can craft on weapons, and then it looks like you can get the affixes from other rares on weapons. So the question then, I didn't fix my flasks. Shit, we should probably do that real quick. So the question is like, what can we craft on our rare weapon that's going to make it even more ridiculous? And they haven't released, I think, everything you can do with the rune crafting yet, so I honestly don't know like how good that's going to be. Alright, so we don't need all of this shit anymore. We can completely redo our flasks.
Now, let us see if you truly understand what it means to be Nightmare.
We'll grab a new life flask. Actually, I wanted a hollowed. What am I doing? Go ahead and sell all this shit. Also, there's more power with the new rune enchants. Yep, so new rune enchants. What's the best way to get a 6-link? Honestly, I just buy one. Just getting like a 6-link base isn't usually that expensive. It's like 20 to 40 chaos. That's should be pretty easy to do early on. Like if you're playing trade, just buy a 6-link base. Okay, we want a granite flask, so let's grab one of those. We'll get a lower level granite flask so we can kind of simulate what we'd have getting into maps. So we'll grab you, and then we're going to want a silver flask. For onslaughts, our life flask, we're going to want a quicksilver. And I guess we could run a mana and flask at the time, because we're going to want a roomies. Oh no, actually we'll just do a basalt for more damage mitigation. That should be fine. Urge, you said that 20 div would be the expensive part of the build, but would you see yourself sinking more money into it to make it strong? Yeah, if I scale this out to the in-game version of theory crafting, we're talking hundreds of divines, right? Because it's a mage blood, it's a progenesis, it's the forbidden flame flesh jewels. We're talking hundreds and hundreds of divines. So if I feel like scaling the build out that far and I'm making money, then sure, you know, I'll keep pushing it. But it just depends on if I want to push it that far. All right, let's get these flasks crafted. So we're going to want corrupted blood immunity on this guy. That'll work. That's my oh shit flask. And then let's get a quicksilver going. Attack speed is fine. Kind of want to see if I can get a gain charges on hit. Would be nice, to be honest. Like a flagellance kind of roll. See, like, that's nice, but unfortunately, I don't want the curse mod. I should have kept that movement speed roll. That was a fail. Honestly, that's fine. We just want movement speed more than anything right now. Bet, I think you convinced me to sleek start Cyclone. Yeah, man, I mean, do whatever you think is going to be fun at the end of the day, right? Like, it's your game. It's what you want to do to enjoy. I would definitely make sure whatever you're playing at the end of the day, you should have fun. Don't ever play something because it's meta and you don't really think you'll be interested in it, or don't play something. Like, always go with your gut. Your gut knows what it wants to do. I'd like to get the extra armor roll. There we go. That's good enough. And then we want at least freeze immunity on the silver flask, I think, would be nice. Can we get a freeze immunity? Are we staying Slayer, or are we swapping to something else? I think Slayer's the play. I think Slayer's the play, my dude. I think Slayer, and then eventually you get the Flame Flesh, and you monopolize on the block stuff. Thank you for... I think that's my subscriber notification. I need to fix my notifications on Twitch because they're broken right now, so I don't know what people are doing. Freeze immunity would be nice. There it is. Good enough. And then a basalt flask. Attack speed on this would be nice. The flame flesh, yeah, for the block, they're going to be insanely expensive. That's why I was saying, like, if you really want to scale out with what I'm planning, it's going to cost a lot of money. It's not going to be cheap. Those things might be like 100 divine a pop just to get those. Is it necessary? Nope. Is it going to make the build feel much better? Yes. I just don't think glowing gladiator early on is the play. I don't think you're getting really any offensive benefit from being a gladiator, and that's kind of a no-go for me with what I want to do with this build. I was using Frostblades for clear and double strike for bossing, but honestly you can run a two-hander and do like Sunder or something if you really wanted to. The world is your oyster. I guess we'll take the shock immunity. So we got freeze immunity, shock immunity. It's not too bad. Can we enable some kill explosion MTX somehow? Yeah, so let me see if I can pull up the POB. Give me a second here, because we can talk about this. I don't have it set up on Streamlabs right now, but yes, what you can do is there is a war banner cluster on the skill tree that's actually very like in line with our pathing, and it's a 3-point investment, but it makes it that when you put your banner down, you'll get explosions on kill chance. So I think, like, especially when we start getting into doing like rituals and we're going to be staying in place for a while, it might be worth putting 3 points into that, because then we can just do a ritual, put our banner down, and then everything we kill can pop and explode. Also, like doing really it's going to be for the rituals, right? The problem is it's not always a static thing that you're going to have, so when you don't have your banner down, it's not going to do that. But like I think for that it should be fine. Yeah. Eventually, when you craft like your awakened chest, you can run the explosion mod on there instead of doing like apply an additional curse or something, and maybe still like do Whispers of Doom on your boots, and then that way you still get double curse from having Whispers of Doom on your boots, and then you can just craft like the explosion chance on your chest if you want to do that too.
Now, let us see if you truly understand what it means to be Nightmare.
Just checking a few things here. Let's go back here. Oh wow. Would you add that chest to POB using kill explosion? I can add an alternate to POB down the road, yeah. I just need to find some time to do that. But that's something I can add for sure. Or the banner mastery, yeah. Yeah, down the road I can do some alternate POVs, like a farming POV, for instance, versus like a bossing one.
That's a flask. Cha-ching. That's a flask.
I hate this boss. I hate the slowing down. Could go with an impulsor, yeah. The thing with the crafted chest is like you're getting that attack crit mod, which is really good, right, on a crit build. And then you can then go with a second awaken craft, whether that's mana cost reduction to trivialize tumult and free up points on the passive tree, which I think is what I'm gonna do. Like I think what I'll probably do is something like that, and then get those points back from the tree. You can still craft explodey chests. I think so. I may be wrong. I know for a fact you can do like mana cost reduction, a crit attack, and you can also do like apply additional curse. If they got rid of the explodey chest, then that's a rip. Also keep in mind you can run, what is it, the flask? That gives you the explosion chance too. So that's also a thing. Yeah, good night, man. Catch you this weekend. Alright, what do I want to do at this point? Let's go up to the next tree. Yeah, we're also not getting the benefit of not having the rage right now. I guess we can go for this life node. Juicy rares, extra life. Shouldn't be wasting my time killing those anyways. Magic mobs, on the other hand, always a good idea. Oh, I do need to go do lab at some point, because getting a headsman will be really nice for damage, and then we get coal too, which will be super nice. Because right now I'm running coal on my totem setup, but not having to rely on that would be amazing. Yeah, I'm from the U.S. United States of America. Although I've spent the last decade living all over the world, so I was in Japan for 2 years, and I was in Europe for 4 years. But I'm back in the States now. Yeah, I figured the chess mod was still around, so that could be the play, actually. Just keep what we're doing with mana on the tree and go with explosion on chests, attack crits, and then put the anoint on the boots for the double curse. I'll have to POV it out and see. Because explosion would be amazing on this, to be completely fair.
Are refusing.
Oh, stood in the petrify. Alright. Can we do the problem is we don't have like the rage on the tree right now, so we're starting to hit a wall and damage. I could go down into these nodes, that is true. This will give us a bit of damage, so I think we'll take that cluster down here. And yeah. Yeah, I'm in the military. At least for the next few months. I'm going back to civilian life this year. Joined to get my computer science degree and my certs, which I did, and now I'm going to go work in civilian IT and just chill. It's going to be amazing.
Or of alchemy. Where's Mama's bubble?
It's honestly why PoE also became like my game of choice, because I used to play a lot of, like, you know, World of Warcraft and Dota 2 and various online games with my buddies, but, you know, living overseas, constantly deploying, traveling, whatnot, PoE became like the better game to play because I can just do it on my own, and it's a great game anyways. Yeah, I think now that we're talking about it, I think Explode on chest with the attack crit might be the play. And then you just do double curse, anoint on the boots, and swap some other stuff around. Am I crashing? Okay. I had to turn off Vulkan and go to DX12 because Vulkan was just repeatedly crashing my system for some reason. It's kind of frustrating.
That's a flask. Did you already saw it?
Starting to get hungry. I normally go for a run around this time, but I am foregoing my jog this morning to do this shit. I think I'm going with like a crit anoint on my amulet right now. It depends on what version of the build we're looking at. I think on the mid-game one, I'm doing like a crit convert on the amulet, and then picking up Whispers of Doom on the boots. Quinn build, yeah. I think it's going to be better than a Quinn build, but we'll see. Keep in mind what you're seeing right now is not what this will be like tomorrow.
Orb of alteration.
Shit slaps. This guy's gonna be a little rough once he starts chaining his electric shit. Yeah. That fucking AoE slam he does is brutal. Fully invested into essences with all scarabs, especially new one. Monster will be in game. Boss is right, or am I missing something? No, so yeah, with my plan for Atlas, I'm going to be doing ritual and essences. And then, picking up scarabs afterwards once I unspec some of the nodes from the Atlas progression for map drops. So mostly focusing on ritual and essences starting out is what I'm going to do. Whether that's the best thing to do or not, you know, time will tell. But that's what I want to do. Try to see if I can find the mini boss. There it is. Oh. Maybe I go do lab now. I keep forgetting I need to do lab. That's the thing. Easy money. Alright. Yeah, I think we go do lab real quick. Get that going. Let's pull up lab. Okay. And we want a cruel lab. Ugh. Not the greatest thing in the world. It's not terrible. We won't be doing dark shrines, so it doesn't matter. Okay, and we want to go, it looks like, left. Really? Alright, I guess we'll head all the way back this way. And we then want to go right.
When the time comes to strike, an emperor strikes without hesitation. It is entertain how is the Samson yet.
Just stomping Azaro like it ain't nothing. Left and right. Cool. What am I doing? Why are we going this way?
An aspirant can afford to be promising. An emperor must keep. Empire awaits you with open arms.
This is gonna be nice. Gonna be very nice now. Alright. Let's go finish up the act.
Practice makes perfect.
Large cluster jewel.
Large cluster jewel. Let's go.
Large cluster jewel.
Almost done with the act. Feels good. She sucks so much. Ooh. And the worst of them, the Odre. Cannot decide what to play, Bone Shatter or Shatter Jug or Slayer Cyclone. It's a good question, man. Jug's gonna be super tanky. I don't know if Jug is the play though, since they kind of nerf Jug. I feel like if you're not going Slayer, you should go Berserker. If you want to play like Slams, because you can really monopolize on the War Cries, is how I would probably do that. But like, Bone Shatter Slayer also is really good still, obviously. Can I take this? Yeah, my leech is carrying me. I don't even need to worry about. So I'm gonna kill these things and take her buffs away. Yeah, well, that's cool. I think once I finish this boss, before I do Act 10, I'm gonna make some more coffee. Definitely feeling like I need coffee. Hmm. Okay, I am gonna grab some coffee, and I will be right back. Alright, let's go ahead and get back to it. Finish this out. Always bugs me. Our quest mark doesn't go away. It's the little things. Divine Life Flask is actually what I should have rolled. Okay. It's physical resistant. No bueno. I forgot. It's on the other side on Act 10. Soul Eater. No, thank you. So 5 levels under. It's kind of low. This is a good place to farm gear to, like, trying to get into maps. Because you're not dealing with all the modifiers of a map, but it's a level 67 area that's pretty good to farm. Pick up some items. Which would be better for reaching in-game bosses? Some Ubers maybe, I've never reached them before. Between Bone Shatter, Earth Shatter. Bone Shatter is not as good as it was. If you want to do bossing, in my opinion, like, and be super tanky, I would probably play like a like a Lacerate Gladiator or something, because you can get that lucky block guaranteed through the Ascendancy, scale your block so you have like insane block value, and then, you know, just work on your damage. That's probably what I would do if I wanted to kill Ubers, is just make like a Lacerate Glad build. Or some kind of bleed Glad build. All those Sundering Axes. Ooh. Lightning Boy hurts. Okay. Oh yeah. I'm gonna leave that guy behind. Goodbye.
Divination card.
Coffee is so good. My mornings would be so incomplete without my coffee. Thank you. Cha-ching. Cha-ching. Getting close to being done with the campaign. Should probably see if I can't craft a new weapon now. Been using the same staff for a minute.
Orb of alchemy.
I think it's like 2.7 to 3 meteors on the radius right now in POB. So I'll have to number that out. Yeah, one of the things I'm trying to look at for once we get like past the starter build is there better ways to scale the AoE for the Cyclone effect? Still have this necklace from like Act 7 or whatever the fuck that is. That's funny. Alright. Let's see if we can make a better staff. No love for the staffs. Alright, that's unfortunate. Go finish these 2 side quests and then kill Katava, I guess. I think we were one too high. Yeah, we want to be a little bit lower. Find the teardrop. I go for Resolute Technique as soon as possible. And then I went for Shockwave as soon as possible. I'll probably be running Resolute Technique for a little bit in maps until I get what I need to swap over to a current setup. Oh, Soul Eater. How I hate thee.
That's a flask.
And then we just gotta do control blocks. I'll knock that out. Oh, is it loadout in POB like you just click one thing and it just swaps everything for you? If that's the case, yes, I can look into that and doing that. That'd be better than having to toggle between the different gem setups and all of that. Yeah, when I get back from work in a couple hours, I will take another go at the POBs, make some edits. I might even make a new practice character this evening and just like practice the first few acts again and kind of feel out really what I want to do for, especially like acts 1 through 5. Like just get a really good feel for how I want to go about it. Depends though, I do have some other gaming commitments this evening, so we shall see. Ooh, that was nasty. Yeah, I think what I might try is like a two-hand axe Sunder till I swap to Cyclone. Always get debated by her. Okay. my body said to pick up the Vow Orb, and then I'm like trying to remember I'm on standard, I don't need to be picking up anything. But I saw the Vow Orb, I'm like, ooh, shiny. What do I want to do here? Yeah, I guess. So we're gonna need resistances in a minute. Also, I am curious if there's staffs at the vendor. Nothing refreshed. RIP. Probably gotta complete Kadava. Okay. Took that hit. Took that hit right on the chin. I might die here. Yeah. No flasks. RIP. I mean, so will Cyclone not be as good as like a lot of the other melee skills? Probably not. Like it's not going to be as good as like playing a Slam Bleed build or Lacerate or anything like that. So they're not wrong, but I think Cyclone is going to be fine in and of itself. Yeah, I can show you guys what I'm currently using for Katava. It's very scuffed. So kill the heart real quick. So the current gear is like just a Fizz DPS staff. It's not that great, you know. It's got like tier. Was that tier? We're not even using crit. Like yeah, it's all garbage. Like the only good stat on this staff is that increased Fizz roll. The accuracy does nothing for us. So shit staff. We're using like all life and resistance rares, you know. Nothing crazy, no uniques, just life and resistances. And then a 4-link for Cyclone. I'm using totems right now, essentially because I'm not using War Banner. Mark on hit with poachers. Like this is a super scuffed, like I'm trying to simulate like what it would be like on League tomorrow. So like no uniques, no like 6-link, you know, on Katava kill or something like that. And then now that I've got the resistance nerf, I'm sitting at like 76, 100, 53, you know. So like no chaos resistance whatsoever when I go into maps. So like, yeah, that was like what it felt like pre-buff on Melee, you know. So tomorrow this should be like so much better. It should be infinitely better experience than that. And now I can actually, you know, and I did that at 64, so I'm like 3 levels under the zone too. So, and then we'll pick up this resistance node here, which is nice because then that should get us close to cap on everything. And I guess we can start going for, at this point, what I would probably start doing is working towards the block nodes, because as you go into maps, we're really going to want to finish out this area right here, and then pick up Versatile Combatant, which is over here at the moment, but it's actually going to be over here tomorrow. And then that way we'll be pretty high on block chance. Yeah, this should play a lot better on League tomorrow. And that's why I purposely was playing this as if like, yeah, very limited gear, very limited gym links, simulate what it you know, will feel like, and then we can get a map going real quick. Let's grab just, what do I want to run? Do a shipyard, I guess. Yeah, so we can do the Fizz vendor recipe. Actually, I might do that real quick, because now that we're in, what in the world? Oh, I gotta actually go do the thing in Act 10 to get to the epilogue. Yeah, we should try to craft a Fizz staff real quick using the vendor recipe, so we can go do that. I was just like chaos spamming shit while I was leveling because I have the currency on standard, so I was just like, okay, I'll throw an alch on this piece of gear and... Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's not my hideout design, but I have tweaked it a little bit. I think it looks nice. So yeah, we'll check the vendor over here and see if maybe there is a staff we can pick up. It's this guy. No staff. Oh, nope, there's a staff. Okay. Yeah, so we'll take this, and then we grab the belt from her. There is no rustic. Rip. I'll have to check other acts. Let's go to 10. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a... Is it? No, I think it's rustic belt, right? Is the crafting recipe? We need a rustic. So let's check Act 9. How does Cyclone of Tumult actually work? So it does more damage, and it has a wider radius, but it severely decreases your movement speed. So you don't want to switch to the alt Cyclone until you get the Stampede boots. So we're using just a regular Cyclone at the moment.
Be careful.
Yeah, I gotta find a rustic sash. Let's go back. Just keep checking the axe, I guess. I need Clarissa, I think. Yeah. There we go. Boom. And then we'll alch it. So let's go ahead and scour this guy. Then we'll go ahead and alch you. Then we'll scour this, and we'll go ahead and whetstone you. Do the recipe. Oh, there was one at the epilogue? Yeah, probably didn't catch it. Oh, we need a whetstone also. Okay. Yeah, much better. And then we can just craft on another stat. So like, okay, we're pretending that this is League, so I don't have a lot of currency still. Should have enough to be able to get like a 4-link going though. And then we need 2 red and a green. That might be, should be fine actually on a strength end base. And then we can craft on like another stat. Maybe attack speed, I guess. Boom. There's our starting staff, guys. Is going into maps. That's what we got. And then we'll go ahead and just, yeah, that's fine. Okay, so first map, let's see how it feels.
That's a flask. Oh, scary. It's fucking awful. That's a flask. Glass blower's bubble.
Oh yeah, yeah. That video went crazy. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't expecting so many people to be interested in Cyclone when I posted the video. That video went super crazy and got me a lot of subs. So thank you. Yeah, I like looking at the damage right now. This, we gotta remember, this is a 4-link with like nothing gear, right? And then it's gonna be just all damage increases tomorrow. This is gonna feel really good on white maps, for sure. And then by the time we get into yellows and we got like a 5 or 6 link going, yeah. Plus we're gonna be even more tanky because we're gonna have the buffed endurance charges. It's gonna be pretty good. And right now we're dealing with like possessed bosses. We're not even doing a normal map boss, it's possessed. Yeah, this is gonna be just fine. This is gonna be just fine, everyone. I'm very, very happy with how this feels at the moment, with like nothing gear. It's pretty fucking crazy. This was the goal, man. Just get to white maps, you know, before League launch and see what it feels like with like the most basic setup. So I have a baseline of expectations for tomorrow. And once again, we're 4 levels under the zone right now. We're not even like the level of the zone because we finished the campaign early. So for 4 link right now, I'm using Cyclone, Pale, Pulverize, and Shockwave.
That's a flask.
Yeah, so it's not super fast right now with the mapping, but like our damage will be better tomorrow, so that'll make it just be a little bit quicker when we do the map. And yeah, already like the damage and the survivability, like for map 1 coming right out of the campaign feels pretty good. Triad Dunes. I don't want to do less area of effect, that sounds awful. Thank you. Ooh, yeah, reflect physical damage doesn't matter. GG Slayer. So we don't have to worry about reflect maps. It feels so good now, like seeing what it feels like. Having that baseline expectations. Just gotta grind XP at this point. That's all we gotta do. Yeah, so I'm not going to do that right now, unfortunately, because I have about 20 minutes before I have to start getting ready for work. But when I get back from work, which will be sometime early Thursday afternoon, East Coast, I think the next thing I'm going to test is doing a 5-link with Stampede and Tumult, and I just want to see what that feels like. So, yeah, I'll do 5-link. We'll swap over to Cyclone of Tumult with Stampede, and we'll see what that feels like. And I think that'll be the last thing I kind of like really care about looking at before League tomorrow. I might also roll a new character and just level like Sunder 2-hand axe just to see what that feels like. So right now we're using a silver flask to get onslaught. So that's how we're getting onslaught at the moment. Keep in mind also, like right now we're still using like a 20% movement speed on our boots. We don't even have like a 30% movement speed with regular Cyclone. So there's that also. Yeah, this is feeling super fucking good, man. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm really, really happy with how this feels in comparison to what it's gonna be tomorrow. Especially like on a 4-link with no gear. This is pretty great. All I want to do is map now. I'm like in that map mode mindset. Doesn't matter. Just working on getting up to that block chance.
It's just a 5 lead.
think I'm seeing a lot of ritual right now. I can't remember what my Atlas tree is on standard.
Cha-ching. Oh, scary.
Looks like I haven't even spec'd it though. I'm seeing like a lot of weird, just additional content. I mean, we're specifically playing Cyclone Shockwave. I don't know how the numbers would work out with doing a different support gem. I probably wouldn't do it because Shockwave makes Cyclone feel so much better, just as a like in terms of gameplay. So part of it's also is like how does the ability feel, you know?
That's a flask.
How, also, is there a way to fit explosions in the build? Yeah, so for explosions, you have two options. It's not on the tree right now, but if you look right here at the passive skill tree, tomorrow there's going to be a cluster underneath this, where is it? Yeah, it's going to be right underneath these nodes right here, that if you spec into it, it'll make it when you place your banner down, explosions happen when you kill stuff. So what I'm thinking about doing is putting points into that since I'm doing ritual, so that when I start the ritual, I place down my banner and then just I have that chance to explode everything. But like passive explosions on the build, you're going to have to either craft a chest for that, which is going to be expensive, or you're going to have to use like the flask to generate that function. But War Banner gives you that temporary feeling of explosions if you're going to be in an area for a while, right? Like say you're doing Expedition, you're doing Ritual, you're doing your Simulacrums or whatever. Well, Simulacrums are a little bit different. I guess if you're farming the actual Simulacrums, I would probably do War Banner still too, yeah. But if you're just running Delirious on a map, it's not really going to be helpful. But like for Ritual, Expedition, Blight, like any League mechanic where you're going to be in a little area of the map for a while, like I think War Banner for the explosions is going to be good.
Cha-ching.
So I think that's what I'm going to end up doing, is putting points into that for the War Banner, just to give that quality of life when I'm going to be farming League mechanics. But yeah, this is feeling pretty damn good, my dudes. Pretty good. Let's pop into a tier 3 map. Let's do like Strand. I love me some Strand. Two additional projectiles and Maimon hit. Okay, this is going to be spicy. Let's give this a shot. Yes. Gotta update my loot filter for tomorrow. Yeah, those proges when they hit though. That's gonna feel so much better tomorrow too, because our endurance charges are gonna give us that elemental reduction.
Battle orb. That's a flask. That's a flask. Orb of Falcon's a flask.
So it's like where you would have placed down your War Banner. Gotta burst a rare real quick. Yeah, this feels so good. I'm so glad I tested this out just to kind of see in advance. Very happy with where this is at. Yeah, see those projectiles. Whew. Spicy. And we haven't even done third lap yet either. So there's that too. I usually wait to do my third lap until like 70. I usually don't go early on it, to be honest. I think we'll do 2 more strands. I don't like that less recovery rate of life, to be honest. Accuracy doesn't matter because we are not, we're resolute technique.
That's a flask.
Density is so low on these magic maps. Ooh, we got a exile. Fellow exile. Hello. Goodbye.
Gem Cutter's Prism. That's a flask. That's a flask. That's a flask. Orb of Alteration.
You want my loot filter? I have a video I posted. It's from a few months ago that has like my loot filter stuff. I have to check the link in it to see if you can still access the sound files and whatnot. Let's see, Possessed Rare. How does this feel? It feels pretty good for Possessed Rare. I think it would be a good point to get for the block is Lucky Note through Flame and Flesh with a high budget. Yeah, that's what I have in my in-game version right now, is going for Flame Flesh on the Gladiator Ascendancy. It's going to be OP. Will you do Ubers on this build? Yes, I will be doing Ubers on this build. I will probably try to scale this build out all the way and do everything to include Juice T17s, full Delirium maps, etc. That is the plan. Yeah, so the only thing I didn't do in my Atlas tree is I didn't go into June, which could be worth it to get the crafts. Because I'm playing trade, I might just like get that from trade from other players. Like if I have a weapon that I craft and I need that, I might just get that from other players. Because for my Atlas tree, I'm going Ritual and Essences, so I'm staying on the left side of the tree, and all the June stuff's on the right side of the tree. So typically when I play like SSF, I do go for June, because, you know, right, you need the crafts, but I think for trade, I'm just going to buy the crafts from other players if I need them. And I also have a couple other friends that are going to be playing during the league launch, and I think some of them are going June, so I can also just hit them up if I need a craft. Usually when there's a really well-received league like this, and all my friends are playing, usually one of us will if we're doing like trade, one of us will specifically go June so that we can get the crafts for everyone, and then any veiled items we usually just feed to that person so they can, you know, get all the crafts. I don't know about the new runes, man. Like, as far as I know, they still haven't posted any information on what the new runes are going to look like. So, I mean, there's like, I have ideas of things I'd like to see, right? Because like keystones from the passive tree can be on there. And you can also have like, you know, those unique affixes. So there are some crazy things that I've been thinking of, but I don't know if they are going to be craftable because they haven't released any info. And I honestly don't know if they're going to in advance. So they may just leave it so that you kind of are surprised when you play the league and you find it. Cold, chill, and freeze resistant. Extra crits, extra life, and blocks attacks. Yeah, the extra life and blocks attacks makes them pretty beefy.
Cha-ching.
Caustic Orb on death. Ooh, that's not going to be fun. We have no chaos resistance. A lot of rares. The other thing we don't know yet is how overtuned is the new nodes going to be, because you know how like we're going to encounter veins of minerals and stuff, and then depending on whatever those minerals are, there's going to be like different mob types and stuff. Those could be pretty overtuned also on league launch. That might get patched day 1 or 2. So there's a chance that the league content could be harder than just doing rares right now, like I'm killing in these maps. So Ritual is good to target at Atlas Tree. I saw other creators targeting them too. Yeah, so I think Ritual in general is usually a Gamba mechanic. So like, you know, you're it's weird. It's like you get a reward screen, and it's like you may get something good, you may not get something good, right? But I think the corpses might sell well, which is what a lot of people are thinking, because those were super popular during, I think it was Affliction League. And so even with the nerfed auras, I think especially the Marionettes are probably going to sell well. And then there's the chance to get the Mist Fragments for King of the Mist, and the Brandis Pack Jewel, or Light of the Meaning now, is going to be really popular. Like, I'm using it in my in-game build. So I think Ritual is, the currency gain on it goes like peaks and valleys. It's not consistent. That's why I'm also going into essences, because essences are more of a consistent, like they're just going to sell, right? You farm essences, you sell essences in bulk, and you can do that through the currency exchange market now too, so you don't even have to deal with trading with other players directly. I always thought block is lucky. You have 60% block. First roll is fail on block. Second roll is success. That's it. I don't understand how it will raise my chance to block from 60 to 90. So the lucky blocks from Gladiator make it so that when you block, I'll read it exactly off the notable here. So chance to block attacks or spell damage is lucky if you've blocked recently. Recently is within 4 seconds. So when you have 65% block and you have multiple attacks incoming when you're mapping, you're gonna block within those 4 seconds. And then lucky block just increases, I think the math on it's like 25 or 27% on top of your 65. I think it's like 20 something percent. So then it just pushes you closer to 90%. And then now that you're at 90% block, of course you're going to block in the next 4 seconds. So it just snowballs. So you just consistently have high block. So that's why it's so good. And then if you're like doing a pure gladiator build you can scale full block. Like if you can manage to spell full attack and spell block at 75, then you're in the like the 90 to 95% block range, which is insane. You're a god at that point. Before a crit swap, should pick endurance nodes. Yeah. Yeah. So what I'm going to do probably on launch is I'm going to actually spec into unyielding, so I have a way to generate endurance charges, and then I'll, as I get, you know, skill points, I'll get the additional charge nodes on the tree. And then once I get Stampede, I will anoint the boots with unyielding, and then I will respec out of these points and put them elsewhere on the tree, is how I'm going to probably do it. That's why a lot of people are playing Gladiator and they're going into that Lucky Block node and they're trying to scale block, attack, and spell block normally without using Versatile. Because if you can get it up to 75 on both, you're going to be a god. Like, it's going to feel really, really good. I think I have time. I'll do one more map and then I probably need to start to get ready for work. So what do I want to run? What's a nice layout? Cemetery is always fun. Okay, easy peasy. Ooh, I hate that this one rare. They put down that like chaos crystals and then they explode when you go near them. It's super deadly. Especially when you don't have like any chaos resistance. Then they blow up when you kill the rare like that. You gotta be careful with those. Are we getting stun immune? Yeah, so we are... sorry, give me a second here. We're picking up Unwavering Stance on the skill tree to have stun immunity. So we grab Unwavering Stance there, so we can't be stunned. Let's try an Essence and see how that feels. Oh yeah, dude. We good. Although, something... what the fuck was that? Was I just misclicking there? I think I was misclicking. I just want to spin around and have fun. Me too, dude. That's why I'm playing Cyclone. Will it be the best melee skill? Absolutely not. Is it going to be a lot of fun? Absolutely yes. I think I got frozen earlier, and that's why I stopped, because my freeze immunity flask wasn't up.
Cha-ching. It's the baby now.
Yeah, I'm very, and you gotta remember, like, I'm using a 4-link right now, you know? I'm using a 4-link, I'm using like a recipe crafted fizz staff, so nothing special in terms of a staff. Yeah, and it's not even the buffs yet to all of the league stuff. So I'm very, very happy with how this feels. Like even killing this Soul Eater mob right here doesn't feel that bad, you know, all things considered. I think it's going to be a vibe on league start for sure. Especially once we get a 6-link, we craft a decent starter staff. You know, we get Stampede, we switch over to Tumult. Like, we're going to be blasting on league start. Will it be the best melee build? Will it be the fastest melee build? not initially. Maybe not the fastest initially. That is the one benefit I think that we'll have over slam builds, is I think eventually we will be faster than a slam build when it comes to mapping. But we won't have like the Giga Chad boss damage that they will. So you can go different variations of Cyclone. However, I want to go block, and to go block you need to go staff. So with new buff Disco, I think we need a very good fizz weapon. Yeah. Also, like, keep in mind that crafting fizz weapons is way easier now once the league goes live. You know, it's going to be easier to get like a, you know, a 600 physical DPS weapon is going to be like what a 450 physical DPS weapon was, right? Rolling an 8 to 850 physical DPS weapon is going to be as easy as it was to craft like a 600 physical DPS weapon. So like getting a higher physical staff is actually going to be easier. Yeah. And Shockwave doesn't work with swords and stuff. How easy is it to get good damage and progress with Shockwave Cyclone? Seems easy enough. Like, I'm using it right now, and it seems pretty good. Yeah. So, yeah, that's it. I'm very happy with this. I did what I wanted to do. I got to white maps. I got to see what it feels like from a league start perspective with very terrible gear and like a very basic recipe crafted staff. So I think when I get back from work this afternoon, Thursday afternoon, I'll do a little bit more streaming. I think I'll swap to a 5-link setup, and I will use Tumult and put on a Stampede, and then I'll test out and see how that will feel. So I get a good idea of what, like, you know, the Tumult feels like with Stampede on a 5-link setup. But I probably won't change any of my other gear. I'm going to keep it all simple, like just life and resistances. And yeah, I think after that, I might do a little bit more releveling as two-hand Sunder, just to see what that feels like. But I'm very happy. I have a good idea of what things are going to look like, I think, tomorrow. And I think we're in a good place. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope this was enjoyable for you guys. I know a lot of people were curious about seeing what Cyclone gameplay looks like. Just keep in mind that this is a very early version of the build, right? It's a 4-link. We're not even using the gem that we're actually going to be using. Yeah, this is like as starter as it gets right now, and so if that gives you an idea of seeing what the gameplay is like, it only gets better. Can we fit some sort of ailment immune to build? So yeah, I use Storm Shroud in the endgame build with my Mage Blood setup. You could use a Storm Shroud with like a 2 well-rolled jewels to get you the full shock immunity, and I might do that on the mid-game version just to get elemental ailment immunity. But yeah, that's how we do it. But yeah, I'm out, guys. I'll catch you guys later. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you later.